Verse 30. And Joseph, Yahusep, saw the act of Yehuda, and he was very much afraid. But he commanded Manasseh, his son, and he also did with another stone like unto the act of Yehuda. So Manasseh took a stone and did the exact same thing. And we know what Yehuda spoke to him. Yehuda said to his brethren, let not any of you say this man is an Egyptian. He knew this power and might and strength came through his seed. Remember, it was promised through the seed of the forefather Abraham. But by his doing this thing, he is of our father's family. He knew it. In verse 31, and Yahusep said, not to you only is strength given. See, he's telling him, not to you all only strength is given, for we are also powerful men. And why will you boast over us all? And Yehuda said to Yahusep, send, I pray, our brother, and he says, ruin not your country this day. He's telling them, send our brother. If you don't, we will ruin this country this day. But we see here that Yahusep telling them, strength is not only given to you all, strength was given to us also. Now let's see why Yehuda is confident, so confident in this strength. This is Yehuda 1:25. He says, for he saw in a vision. This is what Yehuda saw. The Most High is dealing with his people today. He is showing his people visions. Pay attention to the visions the Most High is giving us, because he's showing us where we're going. He's showing us where we at, what's coming, and where we are going. And then we need to adjust, make adjustments in our life and follow what he has commanded us to do. For he saw in a vision concerning me that a malach of might follow me everywhere. There is a malach of might, strength, and power that follows him everywhere, that I should not be overcome. This is the reason why he has help here. This malach of might and strength and power, he's watching over Yehuda. Okay, Louis. This is Louis 2:11. What's going on with Louis? And also 13 through 15. Then the malach brought me down to earth. Here is Louis being brought down to earth by malach, and gave me a shield and a sword, and said to me, execute vengeance on Shechem. So he was told before time to execute vengeance on Shechem. Remember, this thing was of the Most High. To execute vengeance on Shechem because of Dinah, your sister, and I will be with you. Look at this. Same thing we just heard from Yehuda. And I will be with you because Yahuwah have sent me. 13. It says, and I said to him, I pray. This is what Louis said to him. I pray, Master, tell me your name. He wanted to know his name. See how important a name is? So that when you call upon the name, the person answers. See how important. We don't need to be calling on God, JESUS, names of other mighty ones. We get their attention and not the Most High. Yes, the Most High overlooked us, but he told us he's not overlooking us any longer. That I may call upon you. He wanted to know his name, that he may call upon him and he would be with him in the day of tribulation. And he said, I am a malach who intercedes. He's revealing not his name, but who he is. He's telling Louis, know the Father's name. You call on the Father, he gives me the order, I do it. That's what the malachs do. He says, who intercedes for the nation of Yashar'al. He intercedes for the nation. There's a malach today that intercedes for the nation of Yashar'al, that they may not be smitten utterly. For every evil ruach attack it. Every evil ruach in the earth attacks Yashar'al. Make sure we understand this. So if every evil ruach is attacking us, and we are attacking ourselves, it makes you question. Now you understand why rebels come against. Now you understand they're part of this evil ruach that's attacking the word of the Most High. And this is something that is deadly, it's dangerous. But They're not of the Most High. That's why we can boldly and righteously say they are not of the Most High. When they come telling you, you know there is no power in any other name than in the name of JSUS. And I just showed the scripture where it says Yashar'al. There's power in the name Yashar'al. Verse 15. And after these things I awakened. So he was asleep, vision, dream. And Barak the Most High and the Malak who intercedes, watch this, Louis knew. He intercedes for the nation of Yashar'al and for all the righteous. Get this, Gooey. Not only the nation of Yashar'al, but for all the right. That's why I told you, you have to keep his Torah. You must, Gooey, keep his Torah. Don't listen to these false people, false teachers that's telling you you don't have to keep his Torah. It was given to Yashar'al and not to Gooey. Jasher 40 and 10. And all the inhabitants of the cities of the Canaanites and all who were on the other side of Jordan were greatly afraid of the sons of Jacob, for they said, behold, the same will be done to us as was done to the cities. They knew if we go against them, the same thing will be done to us. Watch this. This is the point I want you to get. For who can stand against their mighty strength? These people saw their mighty strength. This was nothing spiritual. I told you we're wimps thinking this spiritual crap. And it's a slap in our forefathers' face. They went through all these battles, all these wars, coming to near death, getting thrust with swords, almost dying, bleeding. And they're saying the weapons of our warfare today is not carnal, but mighty. And they're believing, they're believing this mess. And it's a slap in the forefathers' face. Joshua 40 and 21. And the inhabitants of the land observed them from afar. And all the inhabitants of the land were afraid. All of them was afraid of the sons of Jacob, who had done this thing. For no king, this is the point you need to understand, and the power and the might Yashar'al possessed. For no king from the days of old had ever done the like. There was no king, nobody from the days of old have ever done what they did. Now, we understand Nimrod was considered, in Genesis 10 and 8, Nimrod was considered to be a mighty one. But they knew the works and acts of Nimrod. So he was included. And this shows us Yashar'al is a mighty one on the earth, did greater, mightier than Nimrod. Cush begot Nimrod, and he became to be a mighty one on the earth. So they knew of the stories of Nimrod, and they knew this group of people is very, very powerful, very, very mighty. But they didn't know the Malak's following them. You don't see this. All they know is their mighty one fight for them. And when you fight against them, you're fighting against their mighty one. Well, you're fighting against the mighty ones. And this Elohim, you're fighting against Elohim, Yahuwah and his host. And you cannot win. And I mentioned this before. You cannot win in a battle against Yahuwah and his host. Okay, Deuteronomy 32 and 36. For Yahuwah. Now, this might and power. Okay, you have to understand something. And this is something most people never consider. You in the Bible, you start in Genesis, you read the might and powerful the sons of Jacob had. Jasher go into it deeper. By the time you go through the captivity, Egypt captivity, by the time they go in the wilderness, something's happened in the scripture. Once you read it, you will understand. As time progressed, watch this. As time progressed, the people got weaker and weaker and weaker. And when you get to the end, they are weak and taking counsel against the Most High's word. This is what you must understand. So even today, we're weaker than the ones that was in the so-called New Testament. We're weaker than them. We are just awfully weak. That's why I called us wimps. Deuteronomy 32 and 36. For Yahuwah will judge his people and have compassion on his servants when he sees that their power is gone. Iniquity causes our power to be gone. And this is showing us with no power once we commit iniquity. Leviticus 26:37. They shall stumble over one another. This is what happened, those curses. As it were before a sword, when no one pursues it. And you shall have no power. You shall have no power to stand before your enemies. Here is the people with no power. No power. This is us today. We have no power to stand before our enemies today. The Most High, this is one of the things he spoke to me. He says, I'm going to make everything right. I remember that when he spoke it to me. Everything that's wrong, he's going to make it right. And one of the things he's going to do, he's going to give power back to these people. This is what the powers that be today, this is what terrifies them. When we come back to him, when we come back to his Torah, and he comes with us and give us this power back, they know that the next group, one kingdom fall and the other king rise. Esau is the end of the world. Jacob is the beginning that follows after it. Isaiah 40:29. He gives power to the weak. We're weak now. He's in the process of giving power back to the weak. That's why I said after this message, you should be empowered. You should be stronger than you were before because you didn't know this. Because teachers not teaching this. You don't see people teaching this. And to those who have no might, he increased their strength. This is us today with no might, and he is increasing our strength. Now, this is what he wants from us. Psalms 145:11. This is what the Most High wants. He says, they shall speak of the splendor of your kingdom. We should be speaking of the splendor of his kingdom and talk of your power. We should be telling people the power and the might Yashar'al possess. We should be talking and speaking of this. From today forward, we must speak and talk about this. Now we can understand Psalms 83. I brought this out before. Now we can understand Psalms 83. We couldn't understand this. It says, do not keep silent, O Yahuwah. Do not hold your shalom. It says, and do not be still. Look, we're telling him don't be still, but we can be still and just watch him do everything. He says, behold, your enemies. Remember, his enemies, if we're righteous, our enemies are his enemies. Your enemies make a tumult. And those who hate you, they hate us. They hate him. Ain't that what Yahushua said? They hated me, they will hate you. They lift up their head. They have taken crafty counsel against your people and consorted together against your sheltered ones, and have said, come, let us cut them off from being a nation, that the name of Yashar'al may be remembered no more. Now, they completed that mission. They cut off the name of Yashar'al. Now, when you hear the people in the camp teach this, they will tell you cut off the name of Israel. They never ever cut off the name of Israel. That's a false teaching. Again, they're teaching it. They're saying this is teaching in error. And we must become an opponent to teachers of error. We cannot say they cut off the name of Israel. Israel's name exists today. Here it is. Who is this guy? He is the Prime Minister of Israel. The name of Israel is not cut off. Look at this. This is Israel. In 1948, the nation of Israel was established. In 1948, the nation of Israel was established, and the name of Yashar'al was cut off. That the name of Yashar'al should be remembered no more. Our people don't know Yashar'al, that name. And some of the people ignorantly saying Yashar'al. Yashar'al is not the name, it's Yashar'al. All. Elohim, your mighty ones, and you don't even know it. You are mighty ones and don't even know it. But the Most High is in the process of strengthening the weak, giving strength, power, and might back to these mighty ones. And yes, power and might. There is power and might in the hands of Yashar'al when we should walk in it. Shalom.